Hello and welcome to DCP Live, episode number 316. First episode of December 2022. We're at the tail end of the year, also right before the new season. And we have Paul on.
We finally also got an accurate picture of me.
Yes, that too. Welcome, guys.
Welcome back, Paul.
Yeah, welcome back, Paul.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
It's exciting times, right? A lot of, well, you know, we've been waiting for a lot of stuff. And
Lots of waiting, but there's actual things to talk about. That's good.
Things are on the horizon.
The whole community's just waiting for something to happen. We take like a couple words, like, "Oh my god, the next season, let's go, Rasputin, Xivu, Wrath." Worm gods.
We'll take 2 words of promotion at this point. That's
yeah,
more than we have.
There's just very little, right? It's like, here's some notes that are coming of things that are going to change, but something next week.
I don't get it. I don't know why they do this, and like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Especially, I'm like, okay, so the cutscene will be like something that they wanted to save for right before. And then I saw the cutscene and it was fine, but like that could have been shown a month and a half ago, and they could have been promoting the new season for the last month.
Right.
That's the thing, is that like I could get it if like the epilogue led into just a little bit of a teaser about the new season, right? Because then the teaser is in the game, you're like, oh my god, that means the next season is gonna be something to do with this. We don't know all the information, we don't know the weapons or the activity, but we know the theme. And that, I think, is enough to get the Destiny community excited. If it was like showed something in that cutscene about Xivu or Wrath, for example, it would be pretty hype.
Yeah.
Nope, we just get a tweet.
That's
about the cutscene. About the cutscene.
Should we talk the cutscene first?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Season of Plunder.
How'd you feel?
Final week, epilogue,
the Nez
cutscene.
Yeah. Also, you don't activate or anything. You just jump in and it's like, here's a cutscene.
You just watch it and then leave.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's no final mission or anything that leads into it. It's just
boom.
As soon as you log in, boom, final cutscene. Look, I do like the ink blot cutscenes. I think overall, I was disappointed with the season. I felt like they probably crutched on Nezarek's name and fame within the community. This is like a Destiny 1 thing that's been around forever. And I think got a lot of people excited seeing the previous cutscene with Nezarek in it, thinking that maybe this is going to lead to a revival. And they sort of introduced like new lore, like the curse of Nezarek, which hadn't been talked about before. And, you know, we're collecting all these pieces, and then it was sort of distilled into a cup of tea, which then, for whatever reason, brought Osiris out of a coma. It didn't make a whole bunch of sense, and there wasn't much lead up into like the game. In fact, told us the opposite, that the curse of Nezarek drains your life.
Yeah,
not returns life.
So they made it a little Earl Grey, a little bergamot in there, you know.
Yeah, and then what? And then Osiris reclaimed the memories of Savathun, and they're like, oh my god, Savathun knew about Neptune. There's a what was the exact quote? There's a power or something that Savathun knew about on.
Yep.
Yeah, so he doesn't know the exact nature of it, but he knows something is on Neptune.
A power she knew of, a secret hidden away on Neptune, which that all makes sense because we knew that, because Savathun and Two Truths, Two Lies said that the last city is not the last city. So she sort of hinted at that she already knew about Neomuna. So that all makes sense. It was just I can't get a letdown with Nezarek, and then like
I can't get past the tea thing. It's like, you've been told that this is like really dark elements, like body parts. It's just terrible stuff, and they've been packed away for, you know, a long time because they're so dangerous. And then we brew it into a tea, and it just wakes Osiris.
And we give it to the guy that's in a pretty bad state health-wise, I'd say.
Who may have been compromised
How do you
already?
drink tea when you're in a coma, by the way?
Oh, he smelt it at first, I think. And like the dark.
It's like those commercials, like the Folgers commercials when you wake up, you
best
just by
part of waking
smelling
up
it in the morning. But okay, so so there is an explanation for the tea. Why they did the tea. and it has to do with the Saint and Osiris reunion, where in Witch Queen there was a lore page called Devotion, where it's Devrim Kay talking to Saint about how he's sad that Osiris is in a coma, and Saint brings his own little teacup that's like all chipped and stuff to have tea with him.
Oh,
and
right.
he tells a story about how Osiris broke it and they repaired it like after they had like a little tiff or something, and they were doing a callback to this, and there was like symbolic.
I completely missed that.
I had to have this explained. I didn't come up with this myself. Someone reminded me of this after the fact. Yeah, I'm the lore master now.
Yeah, copy.
So that is why they did it, and so like I understand that they were doing a callback there, but like 99% of the population isn't going to know that, and also like for me, it's still just like a bit too literary. Like I get that they're trying to do like a thing with like the writing there, but it didn't work. Like the two things of like Nezarek's dangerous artifacts, the curse of Nezarek reviving him with a T, like those don't fit together. Like there probably was a way to do this, but like condensing it down to just that, like I was picturing like some mission where it's like Mithrax is doing the ritual and we're fighting off enemies and like we're channeling the darkness into Osiris as like a last resort, effort thing. But like doing it this way, it kind of set the stage for a more sweet reunion between Saint and Osiris, which was the good part of the cutscene. I don't think the Teep thing really worked, and that's all anyone is focusing on and memeing on with like the Nez Cafe, Nez
Teep because it's
like
weird.
So I don't think it worked. Yeah.
There was like like I said, Nezzy has been a famous dude for a long time now, and we got to see him in that cutscene earlier in the season, and we're like, where even is this guy from? Like, we're getting to see some more of this guy, and I think people were getting really excited to see him in some kind of way, or hear from him, or kind of discover the mysteries of, was he an ally? Was he not an ally? Like, who was he turning against? And we got T.
It just seems really negligent to deal with like such powerful dark relics, and then to just kind of casually turn into, like you said, the Nez Cafe type of thing. It's like,
it's sort of like a drift. That's like a drifter move, not a Mithrax move.
Yeah,
drifter would have done that. But
the context of this was Mithrax is trying to redeem himself for being an absolute horrible Elixni, for being like corrupted by the body parts.
He's like, I got this, guys. I already been down this rodeo before.
I know what to do. You don't wear it. You cook it.
Yeah, you huff it.
Yeah, the darkness.
I mean, like, it's possible there are like bad side effects coming. Like there is a curse, and him getting these memories back and whatever, trigger that. But my personal theory is, this is the start of the setup for not just finding Neptune. I think this is the start of the setup for Strand. And then, because we know Osiris. Osiris has been the only NPC featured in Lightfall marketing materials. Like, it's all the other people featured. It's like Callus and the Witness, and like he's the only tower NPC there. And we know a major part of the storyline is us discovering Strand. And I know Bungie said that like we're the first ones to use Strand. It's never been invented before, but like, I think they mean like we as like a team, like all of our people, our friends, not
that's
like
how I took it too.
Cloud Striders don't give us Strand. So like, it feels to me that as a way to give Osiris power back without restoring his light, I'm guessing this will have something to do with how we kind of unlock Strand and deal with that.
Didn't Mithrax kind of, or like in that blot, the ink blot scene, kind of looked like Mithrax alluded to the pulling something out of the darkness like Strand, right?
I yelled at Jazz for like making this Strand
or
connection
or something.
Yeah, thread of darkness.
See,
I was like,
I'm of the opposite opinion. I need to go back and watch exactly what Bungie said during the showcase about first to discover it. But from memory, I thought they said like no one else. Like I thought they were. I think this could lead into discovering it, but I don't think like Savathun had knowledge of it. But also, then what is the weapon on Neomuna if it wasn't that? Well, it could be the Cloud Strider's nanotechnology, like the Xivu stuff. It could be the Nefeli Stronghold tie-in, which is how you would tie Rasputin back into it. It could be something like that.
Well,
or it could be the Strand tie-in.
I honestly feel like the Nezarek's artifacts and stuff would be the great place to spark a new subclass, right? Like Didn't it seem like that would have the momentum to have that kind of supernatural stuff?
Yeah, well, I had a theory before this that the 3 seasons preceding Lightfall were going to be elements of us discovering Strand. So my theory before this, and it still might work, is Egregore from Season of the Haunted as a darkness plant. It's like a unstable form of darkness, kind of, and it's a conductive thread that all leads back. It's like a web that leads back to the witness. And like that sounds very similar to what kinds of things they're saying about Strand. Then we have the Nezarec darkness relics, which we don't know that much about, other than that they are darkness entities. And then we have a new season coming that we know literally nothing about. It might be about Rasputin. I don't know. So maybe, like, I don't know. I do wonder if you're kind of combining all these things together, because now we have Osiris with the relic stuff and the new knowledge, and we know he's featured. We had Eris and Drifter studying Egregore and like learning about a bunch about Egregore last in Season of the Haunted. And I don't know. I do wonder if that will all come together. And yes, we the Guardian might be the first one to actually use it once all this knowledge comes together. But I don't know. I would kind of hope that's where they're going, that all of this has been for a very specific purpose and more connected maybe than it seems right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want too, from a narrative point of view. I want things to connect in a way that's going to make me go, these are all the reasons why I did all this stuff in the seasons to lead to this point where I'm suddenly becoming even more godlike powerful in my journey of being Guardian.
But there's a question they have not answered. Why was Aramis looking for the Nezi parts? Aramis, there was this whole thing. We were like battling against Aramis to get the jars of Nezi, and then Aramis just kind of like jumped off the edge and disappeared, and we never had the question.
She got 0 of them.
Yeah, why did she want that? Like, did she want to make
the witness wanted them. She was doing it for the witness.
In cahoots with the
witness. I assumed just because maybe the witness thought it would help us. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's what was intriguing about this. It was intriguing because they revealed that Nezarec was part of the first like wave of attacks on the collapse, and that was, he would have been right-hand disciple of the witness during that time. So you're thinking, well, the witness wants to regain. We don't know how Nezarec then got into the lunar pyramid and was like in that slumber. So there's this whole sort of like backstory there that was quite interesting to work out what's going on, and the person who should be telling that is the witness Aramis dynamic. Like that's what that should have been. Like,
I was
exploring.
super stoked about that story. There were a few threads throughout the season that I was like, this is actually really interesting. Like them being, stuck on a ship in space together and all that went down, selling babies and stuff. Like all of that was really interesting. And then it kind of ended in splitting almost the 2 stories in half and not really concluding any of them. And
I don't know. Yeah, I'm worried we're like done with Nezarec stuff, and we're just not really going to do more Nezarec stuff, even though we started a bunch of these things, because I think we're going to move on to whatever the new season is. But I think there was a lot more potential there. One question I have though is like, if Osiris got all Savathun's memories now through unlocking this, doesn't Savathun know like way more important stuff? Like, wasn't Savathun like there for the collapse, and like there was something about how maybe she like helped spare humanity herself?
Yeah,
and, like I feel like there is a ton of knowledge there that he should theoretically know. So that seems like kind of important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean that technically could be the story of Nezarec in there. Could be, because we don't know how that worked out there. Yeah, like if Savathun did something to Nezarec to save us, or Nezarec betrayed the witness as well.
That was a theory that he was a traitor, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So there could be something like that in there too. I think overall though, like when I saw Rolk, it really opened up the Destiny universe for me, and I was like, oh, like we've always sort of been in our soul system, everything, even though it's all like alien wise, it sort of made the Destiny universe feel really big, because you only really read about these other planets and other species in the Books of Sorrow and other lore entries, and then you see Rolk in the game, and I sort of had the same feeling with Nezarec. I was like, oh, sheesh, like this is going to be another addition to making this universe just huge, and then it sort of fizzled out. And
so I felt that with Rolk too, until they explained how if you're a disciple, you have to be like the last surviving member of your race, and you have to wipe out the rest of your race. So it's like, it's a way to introduce a new race, but like, you're never going to see any more of them. Like we're never going to go to the Rolk, home planet or the Nezarec home planet because they're all gone theoretically. The exception to this appears to be Callus, who has made himself a disciple despite the Cabal still existing. But yeah,
maybe he's not actually Cabal. Does look different.
He's transcended. He's transcended.
Didn't we just see him like getting out of a hot tub now, like in a physical form?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he looks a bit like a fat worm.
Glob.
He does. Yeah.
An old ancient glob. Looks like
I miss the old theory about Callus being a scion in like a mech suit. That was the good theory back in the day.
I loved that.
Wait, so what do we officially know about next season?
Nothing.
Well, the Xivu Wrath, right?
We think we know and what we actually know. We actually know nothing. We think we know a few things.
As a struggling YouTuber, let me tell you what the next video is going to be. You ready for 8 minutes of glorious lore? So yeah, Bungie out of left field sent a tweet that said what? As the threat of Xivu Wrath looms, Mithrax has taken time to study the secrets of Nezarec's relics.
Can I just say, I read this and I was like, there's been a threat this whole time. I had no idea. Yeah. I feel very uninformed as a guardian protecting the city.
Pretty much. Like everyone's like, huh? when did Xivu Wrath come back? Because she's not, I don't think she's in Season of Plunder at all.
Nope.
Not this whole year
very briefly.
at all. I mean, like,
Xivu's like,
maybe
got him.
mentions, but like, the year before with Season of the Hunt and like the early Osiris stuff where like that was all about like Xivu Wrath like stalked and killed Sagira and like took Osiris's light. So like I think we're coming back around to that now because Osiris is awake and probably wants revenge on Xivu Wrath. So that could be part of it. I mean, we know there's Hive because they're giving us the Lucent mod back. So that's the Lucent brood. That's the Light Hive, which I made a mix up earlier, but that would not be Xivu Wrath's forces. That would be they're still under the control of Savathun's ghosts, Imaru. But then I don't know, maybe they're fighting Xivu. I don't know. So
there's a lore entry chat was telling me about that. Xivu like tortures a Lucent brood, a Lucent hive to like try to work out and track down Savathun. But yeah, technically you don't think of Xivu being in control of the Lucent brood. But she is probably she's worked alongside the Taken and the Scorn from Season of the Lost. Essentially, that was that season where Xivu Wrath was chasing or trying to get Savathun and take control of the Blind Well and sending forces through that. And she was teamed up with the Witness, right? So the Witness, we talked about this today. I think Xivu, like second in command, maybe was issuing orders to the Taken, but the original Taken Master being the Witness kind of deal, working alongside the Scorn.
And then the other half of this is like, okay, the Hive in some form are our enemy this season, probably. It's the Rasputin stuff. And there's really only two direct ties to this so far. They put Seraph frames from Rasputin in the Elixni Quarter as sweeper bots, which seems like a fun little nod toward Rasputin coming back. And then today in the TWAB, which I know we'll get to, they mentioned Seraph rounds are going to be on more weapons. Those are only on Rasputin's Aikilos weapons, and so that implies either those are coming back and being reissued. Usually that has a story component to it when that happens, or we're getting new Aikilos weapons. So that seems a little obvious. Like it would be funny to me if this did not lead to Rasputin stuff. And literally, it's been 2 years since the Rasputin thing. Like he was shut off like a light switch and Beyond Light, put in an engram, and then Anna said she was going to build him an exo body. And that was 2 years ago. And like literally nothing has really happened since in any major capacity. So like it does seem like it is time to circle back around to that storyline. And then there was the beginning cutscene of the Witch Queen where Anna was shown with other Tower Vanguard members. So things seem to be leaning in that direction. But again, with zero official marketing, 5 days ahead of the season here, we literally just have these tiny little scraps and theories to go on.
How likely is it that Osiris is going to be at the helm a lot of the stuff next season? guiding us since he's awake now?
Well, I think it's got to lead into Lightfall, right? So
yeah,
probably.
I think he will to some extent. I think his main thing is probably going to be Lightfall, but
yeah,
I certainly think we'll talk to him now that he's awake this season for sure.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird if he was like woke up and then we don't hear anything.
It'd be very weird, but
until like the very
probably
end
also
of the
not
season.
the first time something like that has happened.
Yeah,
everyone ignores him.
Like, take
like, you're Nezarec now. You're a traitor again. We don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's got to be a twist that is going to be double-sided when it comes to Cyrus. Like it can't be.
They can't do the same thing again though. They can't be like he's secretly evil again. Like
I agree.
Can't play that card twice. Like maybe he's plagued by darkness or whatever. Like, but can't make him secretly evil again. That's not gonna work.
He's gonna just have the same like headaches that Cloud has in Final Fantasy VII. Where it's just like,
there you go.
You know, the what he's tapped into, he's just like, tormented in his head, and he has a memory, and then we're like, oh, what happened? And then,
or he's got some sort of direct connection with Savathun all the time now. Like, can always talk to her telepathically.
Well, if anyone could find the location of Imara, it'd probably be Osiris now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we.
I still think we're gonna resurrect Savathun at some point. Not this season, but. It's gonna be like we gotta turn to our worst enemy to fight our other worst enemy. Like, it's gonna be that kind of thing, and she's gonna come back. I mean, I don't know why they would have left her ghost alive.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
well, I feel like that could be something that could be touched upon or focused on this next season. Is wrapping up that loose end right there. Like, what officially is going on with Savathun moving into?
It's possible. I would be surprised if we resurrected her. Well,
because like if they're talking about having Xivu become like the main focus, like clearly Savathun has an interesting perspective against Xivu, you know? So it'd be like there would be a reason to want to talk to Savathun and then potentially bring her back and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, Cyrus is going to lead us to her ghost. We're going to trap him in a cage and interrogate him. And our weekly mission is us putting in prompts of what to tell him.
Zapping him.
And punching the ghost in the face. Quick time event.
Yeah. Do you remember the collector's edition for something Bungie store for Lightfall actually talks about Osiris's dream? And it says we're going to Neomuna for like our last hope or something about hope. Interestingly, this cutscene talks about it being like a secret and a power. So it's like sort of classic Guardian. Got to go find some weapon on Neomuna, whatever that's got. Strands, that Xivu 2.0, whatever that is, to defeat the Witness. So maybe we'll get a bit more information about that from Osiris.
That's the thing, is like this cutscene, it seems like it leads directly into Lightfall. And like I'm trying to think of what is in the interim gap. Like it seems almost like we could skip this season and just go to Lightfall after Osiris has woken up and told us to go to Neptune. But that's why I'm a little confused about what's actually coming here.
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously the threat of Xivu Wrath, if you're listening, Paul.
Obviously. No, but that's a real question. It's like, okay, so assuming we're going to fight Xivu Wrath at some point, like I wrote about this today, and it's like, when are we gonna fight Xivu Wrath? And like everyone's like, I think everyone's very afraid she's gonna turn into like a Korea seasonal boss or something, which seems very beneath her.
Maybe she's in the dungeon.
Dungeon boss, and then maybe Lightfall raid boss. If the Lightfall raid boss is not Callus or some other darkness thing directly, I don't know. But
the thing
obviously
about
the boss of Final Shape is going to be the Witness. So yeah.
Thing about Xivu is she's a like god of war, right? So she gets stronger like the more combat you're involved in. So she's going to be a tough one to take out if it's like a dungeon boss. So I imagine there might be more of like a take out her like commanders, and she's going to be this sort of force. Maybe you'll see her, maybe you won't, but I don't think you'll like defeat her, which will be good because I don't think you really should defeat the God of War by shooting it in the face with
with Whisper that has jumping in the air
with
the Whisper of the Worm.
Airborne Whisper meta.
Yeah.
For DPS.
Yep.
Got with that.
Oh man.
That's all my little notes. That's all the notes I got on story. Last couple days.
There's nothing, Violet. There's nothing. There's
nothing. That's 2 videos actually. The video's coming out tomorrow too.
Nice.
You can say 2 words in a Destiny tweet and make a whole video about it for sure.
Yep.
You learn to do that. You gotta make lemonade when you can.
Do you guys hope that the seasonal model changes next year?
God, yes. Yeah. I don't even know how exactly, but I mean, I don't think it'll be different next season. Like, I know we're gonna log in. There's gonna be the 3 rows of 7 boxes, and like, it's too late to change that now, I think. But they've got to break to some extent. I don't know exactly how, but you can list like 12 different things that will happen in any given season now. Like, 5 minutes of story conversation a week, the seasonal artifact, power resetting, upgrades, 5 frames for like it's just this line list of items, and like they've got to break that up somehow and change it kind of fundamentally, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think what people are kind of missing on that conversation is that it doesn't even necessarily need to be a better model. It just needs to be different, because when you get the player base to the mindset of, we know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be 6-man activity. It's going to be 3-man activity. It's going to be a story mission. It's going to be lines of things to unlock. It doesn't matter how much content is in there, how amazing the content is. When it's predictable, it's just not as fun for people anymore, and it burns them out. So they really need like 3 or 4 even different models for the season, and they just kind of switch them around so you don't get fatigued on this. But knowing exactly what's going to happen is not.
Yeah, Plunder is a great example of this, because like Catch Crash as an actual activity, like separated out, is a very good activity. It is very substantive. It's probably the most substantive we've had since something like Sundial, but crammed within this other seasonal model that feels so dull and repetitive, and just makes you run it a trillion times for grinding out red frames and whatever.
Yeah,
that becomes the issue. Like it's a reward loop issue. It's not like the volume of content they're producing is large, and it's probably enough in that sense. It's just the way it's structured, the reward loops, the economy of the game, like all of that stuff is what's not working outside of separate things like PvP and whatever. But
also the
that
FOMO,
to me, I think, is the problem.
The FOMO makes you get it takes away from your enjoyment of those things that could have been like an okay grind, but instead the FOMO kicks in, and then it becomes like an annoying grind. You're like, oh, you don't want to miss out on that because
idols and stuff that just you're like, I gotta guild this, or else like the freaking gilding Ghost Rider with 40
it becomes extremely fatiguing
and things, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of think there's a couple of things going on. I think it's partly like expectation of the community, and I think people are just sort of changing. I do agree that it's very repetitive, but I think Crucible being in a bad state is compounding that feeling. And if I could choose between more PvE content and more PvP, I would probably pick to have more variability and more playtime in Crucible, and have more time spent in there, whether that's game modes and loot and just general changes to that system, because I think that carries games for quite a long period of time, multiplayer in general. And then, for me, dungeons and raids, I think, are like the reason I play seasons. I play it for the weekly story. I don't really get too caught up in going through and doing everything, and then I play the raids and dungeons and my brain falls out, and then I move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even in this like tough year, that's one thing I think everybody kind of agrees that they've done well. Like duality outside of the Bell issues, like that was the best part of that season. No one has that many complaints about King's Fall, and most people really think they did a good job with that. But
yeah, I think they did.
It also feels like it's separate from the seasonal model. Like the dungeons are literally separate; they're sold separately now.
Yeah, true.
Whereas King's Fall is free to play, but so it's kind of a weird other layer on top of the season now, where that stuff might be going okay, but you're like, it doesn't really count because I'm paying $20 for these dungeons or whatever. So it's kind of a weird situation we haven't dealt with before.
Yeah, it is strange, and I do agree that having PvP in a poor state makes the PvE side have to be heavily relied on, and in a way, it kind of feels like that was their perspective. I mean, no confirmation or anything like that, but maybe a couple years ago they're like, let's just kind of ignore this side and focus more on the PvE side, which they clearly have. They've done a lot more for the PvE side of things, but the reliance on it, I think, has like exacerbated those problems. So like if you can't just rely on a good PvP to take care of a season, like
they really kind of dug themselves. So a few years ago, they pulled off a lot of their PvP team and top PvP people to go make these PvP games that they have not announced yet in their incubators. that is what a huge chunk of the old PvP teams have been working on. And we'll like get why they're doing that and why they want to expand IP. They took something that's like 40% of the game in terms of like player count, and they're giving it 10%, 5% of the resources of this PvE. And like it is like Crucible, you can't really monetize it. It's not sold as part of a season or something. But I agree with Mylan that it is a core part of continued engagement. And it seems like the stuff they have done with PvP, it's just, a year's worth of fiddling with SBMM or fixing stasis to work in PvP. And now it's airborne effectiveness, which no one asked for, and now it's here forever, and now it's all anyone's complaining about PvP indefinitely. So it just, and you can't have like one new map a year. Like that's not support.
New map every 3 years.
Exactly. Yeah, but it was even worse before. And now this is the good era of one map a year. But
you get what you get.
They even said in the last thing, they're like we're hiring environment people to build more maps, and like if they're at that stage, then true super investment in PvP, if it ever comes, is still kind of years away. So that's
like I said, it felt from what I've played, it feels like they internally took a huge step back from the PvP side, and just without telling everybody was like, let's just see how this goes without investing any more time into PvP. And it's got its problems.
It's a thing of like, when seasons start winding down, or it's like a season that isn't as packed as other seasons, people do tend to end up in PvP, right? And if PvP is healthy and fun, then that will kind of keep things chugging until the next big content update.
Yep.
But when you have both, where both people are like, then
been a long time.
The
last good PvP era was like a year ago, maybe 30th anniversary, and it lasted like 3 months, and then it's over. So
I don't know how you would change the seasonal model. I just think the time frames are so tight. Like what they produce in the time frames is really good, but how much Destiny players want to play Destiny, it's never going to meet that expectation. And also people are sort of sick of the routine of it. So it's like,
I think they
probably found a groove to like get things made in that time frame.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then everyone's like, no, make stuff more variable. It's like, that takes way more time. Like we sort of got a bit of a pattern now.
They need the consistency of the pattern to be able to meet the deadlines, because like I said, it's way more difficult to come up with something brand new every 3 months than to just reuse some models to get people engaged with the content.
Well,
I think it's an economy and rewards loop thing. I think that's the core issue, is like if what we were grinding for felt more meaningful, I think in a lot of these things, it would offset some of the sameness of it. Like I think it's great that they've gotten in this groove where they can make as much content as they have every 3 months, and that is very impressive. But I think there are some core structural problems to rewards in this game that they have not really addressed in a meaningful capacity, and like still have not. And I personally think crafting made all of it worse because it made it more grindy, and it made the loot chase really weird, and like you're discarding anything that's not a red frame, and then once you have a gun, you never need a copy of it again. It really did weird stuff to the loot chase, and it's not the sole problem, but to me that's been kind of a big part of the issue over the past year at least.
Yeah, definitely. It's muddied the waters and then made the grind really weird. Just
it has been weird. Yeah, it's also like with the seasonal model that they do, you kind of have to think that this is almost like Bungie's World of Warcraft, right? Like they're making all these other games, but they're not making any money from them. We don't even know anything about them. So in order to kind of build not only Destiny, but also build all these other games, they need to have something that's consistently keeping the lights on. And they're a little scared to switch things up because this is it's consistent. They know that they can do it. They can make a good amount of content. People will come back for seasons. Yeah, it's tough. I would not want to work on a live service game. Let me tell you.
Right?
No way.
Sounds like
no one's doing it like that.
No one wants to.
Yeah,
it's like them and Genshin Impact in terms of volume of content they put out every couple of months. Like that alone is impressive.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to what they should change when it comes to the seasonal model. I do think it would be healthy for them to take 3 months and not have to put out a season to reshape some stuff or whatever.
The season of health update,
yeah,
everyone
a health
talks
season,
about,
you know, like to just do like patches and stuff for that. But I know that it's impossible to make everyone happy in the game, and the reason why the seasonal model exists is because a lot of people wanted to engage all the time with the game. So that's, you know, it's like they made those players happy with giving these long tail chases of things like titles and all that, but it feels like we kind of lost track of some of the like the expansion newness that we had in early Destiny. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in general, the seasons are just like holding pens really until like the next big expansion. Like their primary goal is to keep you playing through fear of missing out, and it is enough of a grind that it's very hard to play other games if you're a person that gives into the fear of missing out. And then before you know it, the new expansion's on you, and you're like, great, Destiny's good again.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think it's funny, like in chat, Brush and Part, it says, honestly, that's what Plunder feels like. Like they're saying that Plunder feels like a vacation season when there's no way that was like time off for Bungie to recalibrate on what they needed to do.
Oh, definitely not.
You know, it's just like people are taking this season as like a loss in terms of engagement and enjoyment of the game because there was heavy amounts of grind.
Player base.
In
terms of player count.
Time off for the player base, right?
I know they put a ton of work into it, but
yeah, they put a ton of work into these things, and even though it is somewhat formulaic, it's still like a lot of investment and development time to make this stuff a reality for us. So if you know, it's like I said, it's the problem with doing a live service game. It's an endless, you know, line of content creation.
It is.
Them, right?
Yeah. There's no like, oh, let's just delay for like a year and get this thing right. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, but for me, as a long-term Destiny player, I found myself less engaged with this seasonal model as time has gone by. Originally, when it first came out, I was interested because there was new stuff coming out. But I think partly because I was streaming all the time, I was like, I want new stuff to stream. But now it's like the engagement is less interesting for me for just to go and, you know, red border this, red border that, you know?
Yeah.
This season did it for me. I don't know. Like, I know other people have hit this point earlier than me, but like this time is where it really hit me. And I can't even pinpoint exactly what about this specific season did it, but I don't know. It's just, I like kind of hit a wall with it. And like, I got the stuff done I wanted to get done. Like I crafted the weapons or whatever, but like I'm not gonna grind like the stuff I put down. Like I'm not gonna, you know, gild my Iron Banner title or whatever. Like just I put aside a lot of stuff that I might have used to have done where I'm just like, nope, I'm gonna play Marvel Snap. Like I'm gonna play God of War, like whatever.
War,
like
right?
Yeah.
I just and you know that'll change. Like the new season launch, I'll be very excited for that and whatever. But and you know Lightfall, but this it's noticeable. Like the player count is the lowest it has been essentially ever. So it's not like this is just, you know, all in our heads. Like this is a tangible thing that really kind of hit hard this season, especially. So
like for
I'm
Destiny
assuming
2,
they took notice of that. But
like for Destiny 2, like it's like the lowest measurable on Steam.
Tracking
like
Steam, like the only way we can track this is like Steam numbers, and it is apparently the lowest average and lowest peak player counts since launch, other than maybe some of the dead timer on Curse of Osiris, I think, but like that wasn't even the seasonal model. So
yeah,
but it is the lowest it's been by a pretty decent margin.
Curse of Osiris days.
Yeah, I know. I just really wish that when they were switching to a seasonal model, that maybe they took a bit of extra time to come up with like we said, like 3 or 4 kind of templates for what a season can be. And then they could switch them around and mix them up so it's not just because there's one template. One template's not enough. It doesn't matter how good
if they just got rid of the 7 box thing, that would be like a great starting point. Like just something that is not that. Anything that is not that. That would be good.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's the having to check in every week and do this one specific thing to get this one specific item to unlock that 7 column thing.
Yeah. And then do your umbral focusing and focus 12 things and get 1 red frame. And
I'm sick of that.
It's the same thing.
How much time do you think you put into each season, on average?
Oh boy.
Less
Oh,
and
you can look
less.
that up. You go to the Destiny heat map and you can see.
Do you know off the top of your head?
I just wrote this up the other day. The season I put the most into was. Hang on, let me look this up because I did write an article about this.
Okay, while you look that
fairly
up,
recently.
let me be devil's advocate.
Sure.
How is Destiny players' expectation of how much you get for a season too much? Because for me, I'll probably play it for 6 to 8 weeks, and I do enjoy the story, and I grind whatever I want to grind. And then I do a dungeon, do a raid, do them a little bit, and then I'm like, I feel like I got my money's value. I think I got my money's worth of that. Like I wish there was more, but like I can't. It should technically meet my like expectation for what a season is, but I think most people expect it to go more than that. Like they expect it to be from start to finish, no gaps in, I guess, engagement. Like it's gonna consume all of your gaming time.
I feel like
until
that's
the next season drops.
the regular Reddit post is that like it needs to consume your life indefinitely.
This is the thing. I don't need there to be
$10.
more. I don't need it to be better. Like I think we have a lot of content for that $10. I just think it needs to be different.
Like, everybody's saying in chat like it's $10. It is always worth the $10.
Yeah.
For sure.
By far. I have made the argument in the past many times that seasons are underpriced, and I would rather seasons be priced higher, and then other things like maybe the dungeons and things like that, and in the microtransactions, I would rather that be priced lower and seasons priced higher. Like I can never make the argument that I am not getting my money's worth, for that $10. But they do care about more than that. They care about engagement. They care about enthusiasm from the player base, because an engaged and happy player base is going to buy more stuff that is just more than the $10 season. Yeah. And that is, and spread the word about how great the game is, and like it's not just whether or not you're paying $10. So I fully agree. Every season, even the bad seasons, are worth $10, but it's kind of more complicated than that in the grand scheme of things.
It's what you said earlier about the reward loop, the grind, the reward loop in Destiny right now has become this formula that is not exciting. There's other ways to construct a reward system when it comes to RPG-esque type of things, like Diablo loot type of thing, that can be really engaging, and then you can do it in a way where it just kind of feels stale and falls flat, and the chase isn't very fun. And right now, I feel like the chase has definitely been more stale than ever in the Destiny world, because same weapons or same archetypes, not same weapons, but the same archetypes. There's some new perks, and some of those perks are really cool. The most interesting stuff has been the things that interact with the new subclasses. Like those are exciting, right? But then you kind of get some of the standard stat adjustment type of perks, and it's like, well, it's not really that exciting of a chase to.
So it's more about the like fundamental loop gameplay, really.
I think for me, because I don't necessarily need like I definitely don't need to have to play the game 60 hours a week for 3 months to get $10 worth.
To play it 60 hours a week,
right?
Yeah.
Like I don't it doesn't need to be like that. But the time that I do spend to engage needs to be interesting. And like Briar's not here, but he always brings up like he doesn't want to do strikes just because of a pinnacle drop or something like that. That it fundamentally is the issue. Like go do the same content you have done for something that is remotely the same that you've already had, but now it's gone, so you got to do it again this season. You know what I mean? Like that's a problem. It needs to be a better loop.
But my issue is that there is almost no meaningful long-term investment for your character.
Yeah.
It is amassing a vault full of weapons that, if you're getting new weapons that you're using over your old weapons, that's usually just because of power creep. And it's not really like the chase each time around is like some new, fresh, and exciting thing. And there's a reason you're building up, 500 weapons in your vault or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's things like titles, but titles, you can only display one title at any given time. So unless you're sharing a screenshot of all your titles on Twitter, like there's nothing like we see in other games. Like this is like, you might laugh, it's like a shiny Pokemon hunt, like things that take a genuinely long time. But you built up this giant, awesome collection of shiny Pokemon, and like that is something that you were working toward over time. Or Diablo and a lot of these games have a Paragon system where you hit max level, and then you are grinding Paragon level 2000 and getting these like minor bonuses and things, and there's really nothing like that in Destiny, and I feel like that really gets hammered home when you also have things at the same time, like disappearing power level, where you grinded a whole season and you have plus 25 power in the artifact, and then that just gets wiped out every season. Like, it's the opposite of that. It feels like,
feels like
even less of a long-term grind. And like, it got the worst it got was weapon sunsetting, because for every new, you get 20 new weapons a season, you were subtracting 20 weapons. So it was like this treadmill that was just eating up all your old gear, and you're like, why am I even doing this? So like, they got rid of that, so that was something. But to me, yeah, long-term investment is one of the core issues that I think they have really yet to solve.
Yeah, because I mean, they had stuff like that in D1 that people didn't like, and then they switched to another thing, and we've kind of moved away from a lot of RNG-based things, and then the RNG-based things we have are probably a little bit too RNG-based, like people still not having Touch of Malice, but raiding every week for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
there
one seems
used
like
to
a
be things I
no-brainer.
could work towards.
Yeah.
There used to be.
Yeah,
You
there's
get the
this
raid title, give them Touch of Malice.
Yeah.
The end.
Right?
It's not difficult to solve, but
there's this fine line between too much RNG and not enough, and like too much variety, not enough variety on there. Like it's a very delicate balance, and I definitely don't want to be in the seat that has to make the decision for that. But I think that's what ultimately we're feeling as a community, like not having that balance in the chase, and that's why a season can be new but feel kind of stale at the same time.
Oh, we used to have like those random bounties that would pop up in D1 where it's like, oh, I got the Thorn bounty. You didn't even know what it was for when you picked it up. And that was kind of cool. I liked stuff like that.
Yeah, it's funny thinking about all the things that we just didn't know because the game hadn't been data mined and endless content hadn't been made for it yet. Like so much new stuff. Like I remember spending time in Vault of Glass looking for secrets, getting underneath the floor, getting out of the map and all that.
Don't get me started on secrets. I'm retiring from secrets.
True. We talk TWAB. The TWAB's meaty too.
We do have a giant TWAB.
Yeah, we're probably not going to have time for Twitter questions.
That's true. Briar's not here either.
Yeah, we will compile them into one list. Actually, no, it's next season, next week. Oh, you guys are screwed. Sorry about that. So starting off with the TWAB, there's a partnership with Ubisoft, which was surprising.
Yeah, I was like, what? Did I miss something?
Actually looks awesome.
It does actually look pretty dope.
It really looks cool.
And like the Fortnite crossover was genuinely really cool too. So
especially since I don't like Fortnite, I actually thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You can be like Shaxx in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, and Save 14.
Well, I don't care about the Assassin's Creed stuff. I just want the armor ornaments.
We haven't seen the armor ornaments apart from that little image, have we? There's no other images of them.
Yeah,
I think
just
that's the
that
only
little
one.
image.
Just a Twitter.
But
yeah.
But that hunter, the cape and helmet look pretty mean.
Spartan. It's a Spartan armor. Yeah.
Yeah. Titan's got the shield on his back.
Viking armor, and then like Altair armor and the Warlock.
Cool.
Oh, I didn't even see the little unter there on his sparrow. Nice.
Looks pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Warlock's been having some good armor recently, I feel. Warlock's been doing okay.
Yeah, they had the best Fortnite set too.
They definitely did.
Not bad. Still not playing Warlock, but
no.
Warlocks are talk about low play time.
Quick sidetrack. I was doing GMs and I was running with random people from chat, and as soon as we had Titans with Stormnades, we were just slamming GMs like it was a strike mission. It was ridiculous. I'm like, fuck.
I can't believe those aren't getting nerfed more.
I'm going to be a Titan next season. I don't care. They're always overpowered. Let's go Titan, baby.
They're barely
they'll get
nerfed.
nerfs.
It's hilarious. They're not, as far as we know, they're barely getting nerfed next season. They're only nerfing the duration of the grenade a tiny bit. That's it.
Oh, yeah. True.
Anyway.
So the first thing they're talking about is Iron Banner trials and Nightfall weapons. What's coming? What's going? So Trials of Osiris is getting an Exalted Truth Suros adaptive hand cannon and Unwavering Duty Suros adaptive machine gun.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say what's leaving because we don't need to know what's staying. Like I can get the stuff to stay. What's leaving is Aisha's Embrace Scout Rifle and Reed's Regret Linear Fusion Rifle. Mylan, did you get the God Roll Reeds that will be the difference between our world's first and never finishing?
I vaguely remember this argument. Was it because I already got Taipan? I don't need Reeds. Is that why?
And then chat was telling you that no, it's easier to do the stasis damage buff thing on Reeds because
you just get the stasis buff, Milo. Just kill 3 enemies whilst doing a backflip, 3 Titan shield, pick up a stasis crystal, do a running dash slide, and then of course you've got plus 6% damage.
Yeah. So did you
just use my God Roll crafted Taipan that the game literally gave me that has triple tap vorpal? Thank you very
Mylan,
much.
if we can't beat the dungeon, we know what to blame.
Reed's Regret.
Yes.
May not have Reed's Regret.
Hey, are we doing the dungeon?
Reed's Regret is good. Okay,
I would love to.
It's great.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it. This is live happening right now. Are we planning on it? Launch DCP dungeon run.
So I need to bring Danny live into this podcast with the baby. And you all need to ask very kindly because it's a Saturday for me, and Saturdays are now dedicated to relieving Danny of mum duties for a brief
Call
moment.
in the grandparents.
Right. Yeah, Granny.
Granny, I got a dungeon to run.
Mama, please come. We need help so I can work.
To be continued on that discussion.
What about the lore? What if it's in a massive lore dump?
You don't want to miss out on the lore.
You got to be there.
Dungeon lore, man.
You have to be.
You're right. You are right.
It is your job.
You know.
Yeah.
Happy life also.
Iron Banner. What's arriving? Dark Decider Auto Rifle and Ganora's Axe Slug Shotgun. What's leaving? Forge's Pledge Pulse Rifle and Reese Walker Shotgun. Nightfall is getting the Wendigo back, Heavy Grenade Launcher, and Hung Jury.
I'm excited about that because I deleted mine and it was awesome. Now I want another one.
And what's leaving is the Silicon Neuroma Sniper Rifle and Duty Bound Auto Rifle. There's also going to be ornaments. They did show in the TWAB some new ornaments that you can get. Looks like the Pulse Rifle is going to be the seasonal weapon thing that you can get.
Actually looks really sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it does look cool.
It's like very cool looking.
Yeah, it's Hawkeye. It's a Hawkeye and they're buffing some stuff with Hawkeye. So
yeah, this thing's definitely gonna have Head Seeker for sure.
Yeah. So there's now a weapon philosophy and the art of running div. So they're talking to Chris.
Chris Nutbush Proctor, yeah.
Yep, his official name. So first, I'm just gonna read what he says because I do find Chris's thoughts on things quite interesting. We do have some nitty-gritty shotgun spread pictures in here.
Yeah.
So you might want to get out your science notebooks.
Yep.
So, first up, if you haven't looked at the Weapons TWAB since Season 18-1, you may want to catch up on the Festival of the Lost mid-season weapons balance, which has important info for what's coming next. But here is
I just want to say real quick, thank you, Chris, for linking that stuff in this. You know.
Yes, thank you.
That was literally a criticism we had a few months ago.
It was. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? You're right. We criticize and then we never say thank you when it's changed. So yeah.
Very pleased to see link backs to previous notes. Thank you so much.
Very much so appreciate that. That's great.
But we're not gonna read it.
I read that it's in yellow, which means there's a link. So that's great. Listen, we read it on episode, I don't know. Can you also link what episode of DCP we talked about the 12?
Something in the past 20 episodes.
Yeah, if you could do that, that would be helpful. They reduced aim assist on special ammo linear fusion rifles and applied previous sniper ammo flinch to linear fusion rifles. So that was the thing that they talked about. So global, he's talking about global things. We've seen very positive player responses to the full auto retrofit weapon mod over the past several seasons. Because of that, we have added a full auto toggle to the gameplay section of the settings menu which will be live next season. Thank the Lord.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for this. I will have full auto on like everything at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm just like, why would I not
Yeah.
have full auto?
Why would you not?
It's just so good. And now you get to do it with exotics, which you weren't able to do. And there's some exotics that are going to feel great full auto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very excited. We'll be watching how players end up using this and are looking into additional ways for players to pick which types of weapons the setting applies to sometime after Lightfall. For now, we just have the new toggle. On a related note, we're also aware that certain melees also require speedy clicking and are looking at something similar for a subset. So, for example, glaive, sword, and roaming super melees, though currently not regularly charged and uncharged melees. So they're going to look into making that not a thing you have to rapidly press. Full auto melee setting.
Full auto glaive sound terrifying.
Yeah, Mylan's gonna love that.
Yeah,
because you can do stuff with glaives to make them. I'm dying.
Chop them up.
Chop them up.
Chop 'em up.
Yep.
Full speed. Next, weapon archetypes. We pulled quite a few weapons archetype changes from Season 19 into the previously referenced update. So this section is smaller than it would have been. That said, we have substantial changes here, especially to shotgun and glaives. Shotguns. Oh, this is a big one. Shotguns were previously able to one-hit kill from too far away and needed adjustment. Once that was addressed, the weakness of random pellet spread became clear. They've become less reliable, even at close ranges. This gave us a solid starting point to do something we've been looking into for a while, giving each shotgun subfamily a custom fixed spread pattern and a matching custom reticle.
Yeah.
Jeez. Complicated.
Sorry. We just reflect on.
Yeah.
One hit kill.
Yeah.
OHK.
Yeah.
It's also the same sound you make when you get killed by a shotgun with one hit. Okay. Continue.
Each of these spread patterns is intended to give a subfamily a unique style of gameplay and predictable effectiveness at specific ranges. The reticles are tuned to match the size of the actual spread pattern at the default field of view. But note that this is not the case as FOV changes or as spread angle changes, like if you're jumping. Yeah, so you got to turn your FOV down, man, if you want.
There's going to be so many people that don't know that. It's going to be so many people thinking that their reticle isn't giving them the correct information next season. Because they're not going to read this.
It's going to be like, Bungie, this is bugged. My reticle was here.
Reticle's broken.
It's going to be broken for like a lot of people. Especially when people just move to the new consoles.
In a game, you guys know Escape from Tarkov. They had this field of view issue that it would literally change like the ranging of a weapon. Like when you aim down sights, if you had like a field of view that was larger, like the bullet would hit like a centimeter above the iron sight or below or whatever. It would just completely balk like all the aiming in it.
Field of view in FPS fudges up a lot of stuff that people probably wouldn't even think about. It's pain in the ass. And what they do say here that we'll update reticles to react dynamically to spread angle in Lightfall and FOV at a later date. So it will be coming.
Yeah, eventually.
The changes listed evolve the experience of using a shotgun so much that we expect to revisit tuning on these over the next few seasons. That's okay. Tailoring to different playstyles while maintaining a balance takes time, but we're on a good path. Also note that we have held off on adjusting fusion rifles because the balance between shotguns and fusion rifles depends a lot on how these changes work out. So now we have some images, which I guess we could describe to you if you cannot look at the 12. So aggressive is fixed, evenly distributed cone.
Okay.
There's like
cone.
Circle in the middle. And then there's like a bullet in the middle of the circle. And then there's...
It looks like an engram.
Yeah.
It looks like an engram. Yes. And then there's bullets in the engram.
Evenly spread buckshot throughout that surface.
Yes. Buckshot is a good way to say it.
It looks like a little man, like legs down, hands up. 3 dots on the side.
Yeah, Mylan, can you accurately depict them with your body?
Okay, it's an engram with a starfish man in the middle with the bullet spread.
Evenly spread out
Perfect.
bullets.
Even spread, yep.
Precision includes duality hip fire, vertical oval. That's actually a great visual representation. It's a vertical oval.
Yep.
With a
The
circle in the
spread
middle.
on that is the outside of the oval is lined with bullets, and then the inner circle has 2 bullets on the top and bottom. So
Yes.
It looks
that's
like
the spread
that
on it.
Star Wars plane. It's not X-wing. It's a TIE fighter.
That looks like a TIE fighter?
Yeah, like the pattern spread, the bullet spread.
It doesn't look like a TIE fighter.
Go.
Maybe it was the other way. It was tilted.
Not seeing that one, but
You're not
it's all
saying
good.
Anyway, lightweight. Diamond just says diamond. And yeah, it's the shape of like a squish diamond or like a diamond.
It feels like the bolt spread is slightly squished. Just slightly.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the bolt spread is basically outlining it.
Yes. Rapid fire square.
Yeah. That's a square.
Yeah, that's a square.
Square?
Slug updated reticle to properly show precision. Literally just one bullet smack dab in the middle of a circle and another.
Oh, yeah, it does have a little precision, like 4-line thing there now.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really fascinating.
This is cool.
It's like it's been so long, so to have a change like this in the Destiny engine, like that's actually pretty significant, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Interested to see how that affects things, and also how long it takes for them to adjust it, because they say they're going to be monitoring it. Well, is that like 3 months next season?
Next year, trials weapons are all shotguns in the first 2 months.
We'll see.
Additional changes for aggressive frame shotguns. They fixed several shotguns that were using the incorrect intrinsic aggressive perk. All aggressive shotguns will now increase rate of fire after a kill. I didn't know that was
I could have sworn that was happening, but
apparently it was not. Rapid fire increased PvE damage by 5%. The reload speed benefit for the rapid fire shotgun frame now always applies instead of only when reloading from an empty mag. That's nice.
Oh, that's actually good.
Yeah. Sidearms, not much to say about sidearms. They're just hit and drang. So they've reduced the zoom stat on drang from 14 to 13.
Copy.
All said he was going to do a maid outfit stream if they didn't nerf Drang, so I guess he got out of it.
Who was going to do that?
Fallout.
So
he escaped.
We'll get him in a maid outfit eventually.
Yeah.
We'll get him next time.
Okay.
Fusion rifles. So they're saying that main ingredient here is still widely effective as a rangy fusion rifle. So they've adjusted the perks on that, but they don't want to poke at them further if it isn't needed. So they're just hitting the slightly out of band stats on this weapon directly. So reduced stability from 49 to 35 and reduced aim assist stat from 59 to 45. They've also say here that the fusion rifle reticles don't react much to changing accuracy due to firing or jumping, even when on mouse and keyboard and at a high FOV. So they've rebuilt the fusion rifle hip fire reticle so that it reacts more obviously to changes in the accuracy. That's nice. Cool. I like having the information.
Yeah, definitely.
Glaive. Here we go. Glaive projectiles have not hit our quality bar for hit registration. So we have reworked them.
You don't say.
We're also loosening the restrictions on some melee damage exotics and have adjusted base melee damage and some PvE damage scalars. Exciting. So glaive projectiles have been adjusted for more reliable hit detection over the network. Glaive melee attacks can now benefit from exotic armor perks on Syntheseps, Worm God Caress, and Winter's Gate. Syntheseps, no! Stop it. Put that away. I don't want that. Take that back. I was excited, now I'm not.
That'll be range, won't it? So you can do like super glaive lunges? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's going to get more powerful each time as well.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, no, it's going to be powerful just for being surrounded.
Yeah. If you're near enemies, yeah. Which, if you're a glaive, you probably are going to be around enemies.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I don't know at what point Titans took over the Bungie studio, but they should stop it. Stop it.
It's when Deej left. He was the
true. He was holding down the warlocks, and everything was balanced perfectly.
Yep.
Glaive melee damage multiplier is reduced by 25 to 30% against champions, mini bosses, and vehicles. Damage against major and minor enemies is unchanged. Mylan, no more stabbing orcs in the footsies.
Oh my god. I honestly took a glaive through GM, and this I don't care what anyone says, they're one of the best weapons in the game, and they slap, and they're so useful to stay alive. Come on now.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh well.
Glaive's melee base damage reduced from 75 to 67.
They killed me, boy. Glaive nerf.
But now you can just be a Titan like you said you always wanted to be, Mylan. You can put on syntheseps with your stupid storm grenades and have a good time.
Punch it out.
True. Heart of it. Bet your heart of inline lights on in here, is it?
Nope.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good.
I can't believe that didn't get nerfed, honestly. But it's amazing.
Hand cannons. When we updated stats for hand cannons that used to be lightweights, now adaptives, we didn't touch Rose. Now that Rose is returning, we've adjusted its stats for smoother reintegration. So they've increased the range from 38 to 43, reduced stability from 45 to 40, reduced handling from 68 to 60, and airborne effectiveness is 20 on the Rose that you guys are going to be getting when you play comp.
Yes, I forgot about that. Nice.
Pepti's like, comp when I play it.
I'm like, we'll see.
You don't have to win. You just have to show up for like 3 games a week or whatever it is.
Yeah.
To
get the hand cannon, yeah. Blinding effects. Grenade launchers, Queen Breaker, and Grand Overture all previously used the older blinding screen effect, which players have reported could feel jarring. So they switched these to the new arc blind effect, which is significantly reduced screen effect brightness. So that's just good for photosensitivity and all that stuff.
So sadly, the only change to Queen Breaker they're making, even as they buff all of the other underused exotics.
That's true. Queen Breaker, I like Queen Breaker. I just like it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Because you're literally using what the dudes use.
But, it's fun. Yeah.
But there's no
it's fun from like a lore perspective.
Yeah, it's a fun fantasy to have a gun that they literally use, and I'm using it.
Yeah.
And I always do tend to like that in games.
Yeah. What would Mithrax pull out in a fight?
Would he be a sniper?
His name Lord of Wolves.
Oh, he's a shotgun rusher with a sword.
He's like that's the captain gun, and he's got a sword.
Yeah.
No. Weapon mods. They have increased the effects of weapon perks. Weapon mods that increase the effects of weapon perks do not make for interesting decisions. So we've made a long-awaited change to them. The Dragonfly, Rampage, and Surrounded perks now have their spec mod behaviors enabled by default. That's good.
Great. Yes.
That is really good.
Yeah. This actually highlights what we were talking about earlier about the chase and the loop and the grind and the reason for stuff, and like the weapon mod situation, it's like it's just not quite there for a real satisfying grind in a long run,
Yeah.
But,
weapon mods are just they're pretty like there's a bunch of options, but you really have like 2 options per weapon per activity.
Yeah.
Oh, can someone take over quickly while I give a medication?
Sure.
Thank
perks.
You. I'll be right back.
Reworks the perks. So we're not happy with how the prior redesign of Air Assault turned out, so we're taking a second pass on it. It now directly rewards. You don't say. Now directly rewards success and is much more dependable for players. Air Assault now grants a stacking bonus to airborne effectiveness. Maximum 2 stacks, 1 per final blow, 2 per airborne final. Each stack is plus 30 AE.
We're never going to make this good. I don't care. Like, this is never going to be
But you could jump in the air and your bullets would go where you shoot, Tassie. How about that?
After 2 kills.
Yeah, after 2 kills, you're plus 60 on there.
Build into it.
So, yeah, you're back to where you were before they introduced AE in the game.
This is a theme of this whole thing, though. Is like airborne effectiveness is not going away. They're keeping it forever. They're too committed to it now to stop doing it.
They've dug themselves in too deep.
But they are going to nerf it to the point where, like, okay, we're nerfing it so primaries feel better. Like, every primary is going to have an Icarus mod on. Like, that's their solution. Is just, I think they're just going to keep nerfing and nerfing until it feels normal. But
yeah. Headseeker has been a boring and questionably useful perk on most pulse rifles for quite a while, so we've redesigned it as well. Body shots now increase your precision multiplier and increase aim assist. Additional body shots reset the timer to 1, or reset the timer. It has a 0.55 second base timer. Body shots while Headseeker's active reset the timer. So
okay,
yeah. And I hope that's good. We'll have to play
sounds
with it.
fun.
Yeah, it's like okay, yeah. We'll see if it's good. Encore's initial implementation was a little complex and fiddly to use, so we've redesigned that one. Final blows now grant stacks of Encore, and stacks grant increased stability, range, and accuracy. Body shot final blows grant 1 stack. Precision final blows grant 2 stacks with a maximum of 4 stacks. Last 7 seconds and enhanced last 7.5 seconds. Final blows refresh the timer. Plus 8 stability, plus 5 range, and plus 1.25 accuracy per stack. Okay. Seraph rounds. Seraph rounds will be appearing.
Too complicated for me.
Yeah, but that's firing range topic right there. See if that's working. Seraph rounds will be appearing on more weapons next season, but in its current form, it's the strongest magazine perk by a large margin. So we've pulled it back a little and made it more of a trade-off. Remove 10% range scalar, and now offers plus 7 stability and plus 3 range. Okay.
Rasputin's returning next season.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That was the important part of this, is the fact that they're talking about Seraph rounds at all. But I assume we'll be able to craft things like the Aikilos SMG and the shotgun and stuff.
Yeah.
If they're doing this, but
just bringing them back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
I'll finish these two. Tunnel vision plus kill. Tunnel vision plus kill clip. I don't know why I can't speak. Tunnel vision plus kill clip. Not being refleshable.
Just go with whatever your brain is saying.
Yeah, not being refleshable while active has been counterintuitive. Refleshable.
I just want to hear unrestrained Tefty with whatever his brain's doing right now, because I like
just unhinged. So we've now set them up to allow all that. So they weren't working quite the way they wanted. Now they're working the way they should. That being said, this makes kill clip too strong compared to other damage perks, so we've pulled it back a little. The duration of these buffs can now be refreshed if activated while already active. Reduce kill clip damage bonus from 33 to 25%. So a little bit. Okay. Little adjustment. Redirection.
Pretty big nerf to kill clip, actually. Like, I know they're talking about just tunnel vision, but
yeah, because that's overall, right?
Yeah,
not just with the tunnel vision stuff. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, so broad nerf to it.
Made it too strong to have it just refresh.
Yeah. Redirection didn't use our standard method of checking for weak versus strong enemies, so we've changed it to be consistent with other perks since it'll be appearing on more weapons. Clue? Redirection? More weapons? No.
It's the Deepstone, maybe the Deepstone Crypt is
Deepstone Seraph
secret for something.
Deepstone Seraph Mafia.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this has to do with Deepstone specifically, or if, like, they did say a bazillion years ago that they were just going to start moving old raid perks to other weapons, and like they're going to do this with other raids. So I don't know if they'll always be tied to like the content of the raid. I mean, I would love to go back and do more Deepstone Crypt stuff, but yeah, I'm just wondering if that necessitates it.
Right. So what they're saying is now builds stacks against red bar enemies and consumes them on everything else, i.e. matches minor spec and other perks that use similar language. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're moving on to buffs. So they are doing some stuff with the Hake Breach Armaments origin trait. So it now increases damage versus Ward of Dawn and Well of Radiant Swords by 30%, 60% with the Artifact mod. Which, that's pretty big. Yeah. That's pretty big. Because when you're playing Trials and you're against, like, just a bunch of bubble titans, there's always this kind of race against time to make something happen before they start getting their bubbles. But now maybe everyone will just switch to their new hockey whatever and take out the bubble.
Bubble piercer.
Yeah, put the mod on.
No.
Also, damage bonus against stasis crystals has been increased by 15%, both base and with an artifact mod. So I can't trap people in jail as much.
Okay.
Gut shot straight is getting changed on auto rifles, so it's now going to increase bonus auto rifle body shot damage from 10% to 20%. It's actually pretty exciting because on sidearms, I've always liked gut shot straight. Because you're not really aiming for those precision hits, you're kind of just firing at them. And I think auto rifles are similar, so that might actually be really nice. Compulsive reloader. The speed is enjoyable, but on certain weapon types, and it doesn't remain active deep enough into the magazine. So it's now going to remain active down to half ammo.
Oh,
okay.
Good.
Yeah, it's a good
right.
Yeah.
The high impact frame intrinsic perk can be hard to use since it switches off with little movement. We've tweaked this so that slow movement, e.g. crouching and strafing, doesn't deactivate the perk. So, yeah, it's now going to allow you to do that. You're just going to see people crouching now. Just going to crouch forever. Walking around the map.
Crab walking.
Ambitious Assassin, they've now increased the allowed time between kills from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Good change. Sounds good to me. Well-rounded, the duration increased from 10 seconds to 15 seconds, and stacking the effect still resets the timer. Cool. Yeah, a lot of these are like, nice, good.
Yeah.
Good quality of life kind of change for these perks. Recombination, they've made some tweaks to make it function in PvP as intended, because it was not. And it now grants up to 100 bonus damage at max stacks in PvE, 50% in PvP. Interesting.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what recombination does.
Recombination is... I could bring it up on Dim.
Isn't it that one that you get
when you're killing things?
Matches kill a thing with an element, and if it matches the element, do more damage or something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. Chat will tell us the exact reference for it.
Okay.
But yeah, it increases. It's increased damage. I mean, it says it. They said that it. People are saying it's about reloading, but I'm like, no, because
they're thinking of reconstruction.
Reconstruction is slowly reloading.
The change literally says that it grants more bonus damage.
Recombination.
Okay.
Yeah, it's where you're getting elemental kills increase the damage of the weapon. That's
elemental kills grant 1 stack of recombination, increasing the damage of the next shot of the weapon up to 10 stacks.
Will this allow you to one-shot, body-shot with enough
Gotcha.
investment?
This is good. I mean, this is good for, especially now that we have all these elemental well builds. So
yeah, this is great. Zen Moment, it no longer deactivates on a miss, and it has a 1-second timer. Okay. As work on Divinity this season, we looked at other related hiccups, including rewind rounds. So it now works as intended when hitting the cage created by Divinity. Didn't know it wasn't. Good to know. Genesis is kind of interesting. It now triggers on breaking players' shields. So this was just a useless perk in PvP. So it refills your weapon ammo when you break shields in PvE. But if you're in PvP, it just doesn't really do anything. So it's actually pretty interesting.
It's pretty good, actually.
I like that. Yeah, could be good.
Yeah, neutral game bonus right there.
Yeah, you get your ammo back when you break shields. Pretty nice. One quiet moment wasn't really doing a good job of providing fast reloads out of combat in cases where a player has dealt with all nearby threats. So it's gonna faster reactivation after a final blow. So they're really targeting if you get the final kill, you're gonna reload faster. Gun and run was hard to trigger in PvP or encounters with few enemies, so we also decided to half the number of final blows needed to activate this when going up against most enemy types. I don't know what gun and run does, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
The Gambit intrinsic perk that they also buffed last season, but I don't remember what
Hefty, you should know all
it
about
does
this.
now.
I don't pay attention.
As
Something
a
with
low-
sprinting. I think it makes you sprint faster. I don't remember.
I stick to one loadout and that's it.
Increases movement speed after kills. Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Could actually be pretty fun. Nerfs. Box breathing is getting a nerf. Reduced damage bonus on scout rifles by 5%.
Okay.
Unstoppable forces damage is getting reduced from 30% to 20%. And 1-2 punch, they are reducing bonus melee damage as follows. From 3 times to 2 times versus most enemies with unpowered melees, from 1.8 times to 1.4 versus most enemies with charged melees, and reduce the additional bonus versus bosses from 0.5 to 0.25. Will I use 1-2 punch anymore? Like, is there really a reason to? I don't know.
I mean, I get it. It's so funny that they're like doing this and then they're still not doing Titan Storm Grenade things to any great extent. But
Yeah,
sure, why not?
I don't know. I don't know what to think about that.
Well, at the moment, like 1-2 punch is great in your hunter builds. Like you can literally 2-tap a champion.
Mm-hmm.
GM dead. That's not gonna happen.
So they're just fixing a bug with 2XS, which is the opulent weapon origin trait. Triggering this perk across multiple weapons no longer displays a stacking counter on the UI because this perk does not stack. No. Now you just see what it's supposed to do. We got enhanced perk changes. Oh, big changes. Okay. Unrelenting. Shifted to +5 health regen, removed +5 handling. Perpetual motion. Removed 0.1 second faster activation and removed the 0.1 second grace period upon ending, but they added 1 second faster activation of the 2 time stacks. Write that down. Timed payload. Shifted from range to +5 reload. Firing line. Added additional 10 handling when in proximity. Removed increased neutral range. Grave robber. Swapped +5 reload to +5 handling. Explosive light. Added 1 more charge so the stack caps at 7. Cornered, added +10 stability when active. I'm actually kind of excited about that because I like cornered on my fusion rifles.
Mm-hmm.
Cold steel. Weapon energy and weapon magazine capacity now add +10 to be consistent with other ammo capacity increasing perks. Vorpal weapon.
Wait.
Yes.
Enhanced cold steel.
Yes.
So we're gonna get a craftable stasis sword. We don't have that now, right? So that seems to be a weapon confirmation for next season.
That's yeah. Stasis sword.
Do we even have any craftable swords right now? I feel like we don't.
I certainly haven't crafted a sword, but I haven't.
I don't think we have any craftable swords because they also talk about craftable flash counter and then chain reaction on swords. So we're getting some new stasis sword this season.
This could actually be really fun. Yeah, looking at these other perks. So Vorpal weapon changed from +5 reload to +5 stability. This will apply to the guard resistance stat on swords. More swords.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis removed primary ammo overflow, added additional handling. Flash counter increased ammo capacity. Chain reaction updated the description as this provides a different benefit to swords. And ambitious assassin increased allowed time between final blows from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. Swords. That's what I got from that.
It's the takeaway.
Swords.
Everyone keeps spamming dare swords,
swords. Yes, okay. The dare swords exist, yes. They are not stasis, so I was half right. But sorry, I blocked those out of my mind. I just forgot that they exist.
Paul has ripped all the memory of the swords in general from the mind.
That was dramatic. But okay, fine. Confirmation of stasis sword. I acknowledge we have existing craftable sword.
To be honest, this is how you be, you stream on Twitch. You just bait chat into engagement by going,
I'm not used to dealing with live chat. It's very stressful. 50 people telling me I'm wrong instantly.
Yeah, you got to go for a 15% incorrect factor to get the engagement to people to.
Yeah, I'm usually incorrect about most things. So
you watch our YouTube comments be through the roof. Yeah. Every second one will be dares swords. It'd be get 1 million views this video.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's some fun stuff. Exotics, reworks. Ooh, yeah. So, the Fundamentals perk, which can be seen on the damage type switching exotics Borealis, Hardlight, and Dead Messenger, they've added some different stuff to that. So, Arc is now going to get plus 25 handling and plus 5 range. Solar plus 35 reload speed and plus 20 airborne effectiveness. And Void plus 20 stability and plus 10 aim assist. So maybe you want to run your Borealis in Void to, reduce the flinch a little bit, get some more aim assist. I don't know, run Solar if you want to shoot him in the air. You'd probably still miss.
Need Whisper the Worm for that.
Yeah, you do. You do need Whisper for that. Even with the above change to the fundamentals, we felt like Borealis could do with some more love. So breaking a matched shield now refills the magazine from reserves and allows your next 5 shots to deal bonus damage, not deactivated by reloading.
That's cool.
That's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
Kind of nice. Yeah. The switch in Jade wrap it up because its exotic perk is not sexy.
Yep.
So quickly landing 3 crits returns around to the magazine and increases the damage of your next body shot. Stacks up to 3 increased damage body shots and resets if you reload.
Okay.
Still sounds a little boring, but okay.
It is still like not super exciting.
Wait, so you could hit 9 crits and then have 3 bonus body shots? Basically? Like
Yes.
3 body shots that do extra damage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Wait, what if they're putting enhanced cold steel on a stasis glaive you can craft? Sorry, I'm still thinking about that.
Maybe.
It didn't say swords for cold steel, so maybe.
It didn't.
Okay. Well, I hope it's a stasis glaive because we need one.
Stasis glaive would be very fun. Yeah. That'd be super fun. Okay, nerfs. Okay. There's a little graph here that shows that 3 weapons dominate raid exotic weapon usage. You've got Arbalest all the way up there, Divinity and Witherhoard. Izanagi is kind of up there, but yeah, like Arbalest is killing it.
Divinity, yeah, Arbalest is over 25% usage, and then
yes.
Izanagi's is like just above 5%. So
yeah, Trinity Gold's pretty high.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. I mean, it's very good, obviously, but
it is.
The ad clearing ability. Yeah, so Witherhoard and Divinity. It's kind of surprising. They mentioned this, that Divinity is so high and requires, like, the people who have it, it's like 50% less people have Divinity, yet it's so high in usage, which means that if more people had it, it would be even higher. And also, it's only one person that has it on during the raid, yet it's still so high.
That's it's
like
very,
literally
very
mandatory almost in like what 80% of raid encounters. Yeah,
that's very true. Yeah, you have to find people willing to help get you Divinity. You can't just do it by yourself.
Yeah.
So they say here, for example, looking at raid exotic usage back on November 15th, it's clear that Arbalest, Divinity, and Witherhoard are extremely popular. Divinity coming right behind Arbalest is no accident. But an entire team of 6 players in a raid only needs a single Divinity. Yes. And then they have PvP exotic special weapon usage with a Horde up there. Forerunner, Jotun? I never expected to see Jotun up there in PvP. Jotun's sitting at like, what? It's probably like 13%?
It's because you're a PvP sweat, Lord Watch. Come down to my division.
All PvP? Yeah, this is like the weapon for like
really
grub PvP play. Yeah,
it's the easy button.
But like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Man, I loved Jotun on Bottom Tree Dawnblade before they murdered it when it worked off of the spreading burn. Oh my god. It was so much fun. That was incredible.
Cloud Strike's even top 7 or whatever.
Yeah, so it's with a Horde is the top, then Forerunner, Jotun, Telesto, Chaperone, Dead Messenger, Cloud Strike, Duality.
The drop between Telesto and Jotun is huge. It goes from like basically 15% down to 6% with Telesto. So I totally get it though.
Only special weapons?
It's exotics. Most use exotics.
But there's no primaries in here.
There is no primaries.
I think
that doesn't seem. It's got to just be special.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, PvP exotic special weapon usage.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That
other
makes more
one
sense.
was just raid exotic weapon usage. Yeah, so this is just special weapon. Okay. So with a horde, they are reducing the taken portal duration from 7.5 seconds to 4.5 seconds. I think that's fine. It does lock down an area for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's needed, I think.
It's still gonna kill if you direct hit people.
Yep.
I think that's fine. Divinity. They say a lot of stuff about Divinity, but they do say here, the one thing I want to call out is that you can still apply a 30% weaken debuff with the cage by combining Divinity with Tether or Tracked Cannon. And we heard about this before. They've reduced Divinity's weaken from 30% to 15%.
Do you think it feels like they're just making you have to compound other things to have the same effect?
Yeah,
I feel like us hunters are crying in the corner because we don't contribute anymore because no one gives a shit about our tethers. And so, like, yeah, you better make that class relevant again. That's why Teft.
Oh, now you better
Yeah,
stack
I'm
it.
pretty.
You better stack it with your divinity, otherwise, you know.
I'm pretty sure it's the not just pick this weapon to do literally everything.
Yeah.
Just one weapon, do everything.
Yeah. Don't worry about your crit shot.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about debuffing. Remember what we used to do for debuffs? Like we used to track a cannon and then we'd tether and then we'd throw like weaken grenades. We'd stand in a well. We'd have the warlock melee the boss to get the damage buff. That was a lot. We don't do any of that anymore. Just divinity.
True.
Arbalist. So okay, they're reducing body shot damage to match Lorentz driver from Arbalist. That makes sense. I feel like.
Okay.
Oh, this is primaries, maybe. Anyway, Galahorn, they are reducing the primary rocket's impact and detonation damage by 25%. Wolfpack rounds are unaffected. And this just brings it into the desired band without nerfing it past other rocket launchers.
Bound to happen someday.
Galahorn is pretty strong.
Yeah,
but also
I mean, it wasn't even the top TPS rocket launcher technically, but I'm not surprised they did this anyway.
Yeah. They are taking down Forerunner because it received an unintended damage buff in Season 18's balance update that made it a little bit too easy to use. So they're reducing Forerunner's base damage from 40 to 37 and crit from 72 to 67. So after the change that was an unintentional buff, all it took for a final blow was 1 crit and 3 body shots. So they're kind of changing that, so you need to be a bit more...
A little more precise.
Accurate. Yeah, a bit more precise. I think is fine. It's a weapon that's very easy to get crits with. It's not exactly a gun that's lacking in aim assist and all that. But now we're getting to buffs, the fun part.
Yes.
Buffs are fun. So they're tracking exotic weapon popularity when deciding what exotic weapons to buff. So we have a graph here showing usage by owners. And we've got Bastion. Bastion is up there.
Whoa.
Wait, is it
only 2.3%?
How is Salvation's grip not last? Who is using Salvation's grip at a higher percentage than like 11 other weapons below it? That's insane. It literally doesn't do anything. It's like not even a weapon. That's shocking. I'm genuinely shocked.
Yeah, what do you even use that for?
Also, they're not buffing 3 of the 4 bottom used weapons: Queenbreaker, Worldline, and Two-Tailed.
Ooh, Two-Tailed could actually get a slight buff. I'll keep reading.
Was it?
Just well, not itself. I'm talking about the Drer Falcon changes.
Oh, right.
A little bit, maybe, possibly. So they say here that typically we choose from the 20 or so of the least popular weapons for potential buff, either directly or via a catalyst. In this case, we've adjusted some that have languished for years, and others we simply felt strongly about. They say that we have more of these changes coming in Lightfall, so this is not all of it. Maybe Queenbreaker will get that buff at some point.
Someday.
One day. So they do say here that with the addition of the full auto setting, obviously there's some things that need to be changed. So No Time to Explain is getting Feasting Frenzy. Traveler's Chosen is getting Surplus on its catalyst, and Vigilance Wing catalyst is being replaced with Ensemble.
Those are all very good picks.
Yeah, Traveler's Chosen is going to be really good with Surplus. It just works
really
so well. So well on that gun. It's going to be great. And it's going to be it's going to be great. I'm very excited for Traveler's Chosen. They fixed an issue with Dead Man's Tale. It wasn't landing consistent crits, so it now prefers critical hits over body hits in hipfire if both types of targets are inside the precision cone. And they increased the body shot damage from 46 to 54 and reduced crit damage from 81 to 80. Darcy getting some interesting stuff. So Darcy now applies Jolt when damaging targets affected by personal assistant and increased airborne effectiveness to 80.
How about that?
The Jolt thing is kind of fun, but yes. I don't get this heavy sniper airborne effectiveness meta they're trying to create.
Yeah. I don't know. I do not know.
They talk about it with the Whisper one, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I'll read it, but I still don't get it. Wish Ender. So it's always had a hidden bonus versus targets affected by Witherhoard because it's a taken hunter's weapon, apparently. So it's got increased bonus versus Witherhoard blighted targets from 10% to 25%.
It's such a weird thing to buff. I mean, it's cool, but like it's not think of a more random.
Yeah, be like, all right, make sure you're using Witherhoard, guys, because I got my Wish Ender out.
Yeah, we're gonna
love Wish Ender. Wish Ender is one of my favorite exotics now after last season's buffs. So
we're going into the dungeon. One person with Witherhoard, two with Wish Ender.
It's the new Divinity.
Yes.
You got Wither Bitch and Wish Bitch. Who's it gonna be?
Yep. And then they said here, while we don't want special ammo snipers to be perfectly accurate from the air without significant investment, we don't have the same concerns for their heavy ammo counterparts. So Whisper of the Worm is getting increased airborne effectiveness to 80. So they're just trying to get people to pick up heavy and like, are they just getting people to pick up a heavy in PvP to be like, let me hit some sick air shots?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Picking your heavy exotic
360 no scope fakies.
The clips.
Weird.
You know, you can just like shoot a rocket at people and they die no matter where it hits. Right?
From the air.
But you can't put that in your montage on Twitter.
Galley.
Prospector. It's getting chain reaction to the intrinsic perk. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Might actually
I have to assume they're gonna buff. They're gonna buff heavy grenades by Lightfall, is my guess.
Yeah, possibly. Fourth Horseman is getting its recoil decreased by 50%. That's probably good. I can now use it in PvP without just hitting like one shot and the rest goes in the air.
Yeah, that's a lot of reduction. So.
Forerunner. They've increased crit damage by 30%. This is PvE. Increased crit damage by 30% and the rocks damage by 60% in PvE. Reduced ammo cost to activate the rock from 6 to 4. And increased damage at the outer edge of the rock's damage radius from 0% to 20%.
Okay.
I never knew it was called the rock.
I literally forget to use that grenade like 100% of the time. I just like forget it exists.
Don't have it.
Didn't know it was called the rock. Merciless. Merciless decreased charge time on hit now resets on a 5-second timer. This timer is refreshed when you land hits. So they're trying to keep it. It said that it's extraordinary strong when ramped up, but hard to keep it in that state. So, yeah. Cool. Yep. Rat King is getting a buff. Radius required to activate the Rat Pack perk has been increased from 15 meters to 20 meters.
It's a big jump.
So, yeah, you know, put on Rat King sometimes, man. Maybe we'll accidentally help each other kill people.
Yeah, accidental rat buff.
Yeah. Legend of Acreus is not having any movement penalties now because they had that to make it feel like a weightier, heavier shotgun. Doesn't have that anymore. It is very weighty. Bastion is getting its reduced spread angle by 6%. Bastion might come back a little bit, maybe.
It needs an exotic perk. It doesn't have an exotic perk anymore. Like, it's just it used to be the only fusion in that slot, and now there's a million fusions in that slot.
Right.
So like, it needs an actual exotic perk. But
Quicksilver Storm, which is the Lightfall auto rifle, increased PvP maximum grenade damage from 80 to 120, and increased the explosion radius from 3 meters to 4 meters. Could end up being annoying potentially.
Yeah.
Switched rocket damage from arc to kinetic. Cold Heart didn't quite go the way they wanted with the 3.0 update, so they've reduced the cooldown on ionic trace generation from 3.5 seconds to 2 seconds. It now maxes out stability and reload speed when at maximum damage, and picking up an ionic trace now reduces the time it takes to get to max damage. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
I like those changes.
Could be good.
Grand Overture, they have increased missile damage by 50%. I really liked this gun.
This one, like, the missiles were already pretty good, I thought.
Yeah.
So 50% buff seems very good. I'm very curious about this one.
Yeah, I think I used this all throughout the Witch Queen campaign, actually. It was just, I don't know, it was just good.
Fun. It's a fun gun.
It was fun, and it was, pretty effective. Xenophage, it now deals roughly half of its damage as impact damage and the rest as detonation. And the overall damage has been increased by 5%.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
When adjusting Divinity, they looked at some bugs related to it. That includes Cloud Strike. The Lightning Storm will now correctly activate when hitting Divinity's cage.
Nice.
That is nice. Exotic armor time. So, this says specifically output from melee attacks in PvE were an issue. So they're kind of bringing those down. So Worm God's Caress reduced maximum damage multiplier from 7.5 to 3.5. Winter's Guile.
Guile, yeah.
Guile.
Yes.
I was gonna say Guile because it's a better word.
Let's go with Guile.
Winter's Guile. Reduced the maximum damage multiplier from 7.5 to 3.5. So, now we're talking about Falcon. So they say here that we have a change coming in 6.3.0.1. Here's a sneak preview of the changes that we believe will address the balance concerns in PvP. So now, where you will gain volatile rounds when exiting invisibility.
Okay.
See, now this is the thing, is that
sounds nice.
It's a nerf because it's obviously a lot easier to just throw it on, come out of invis, and just do a little bit of extra damage. But volatile rounds, being able to have it that easily accessible. Are people forgetting that volatile rounds give you wall hacks when you kill someone who is volatile?
This is a build cooker.
You can have wall hacks like all the time.
Yeah.
You're gonna have,
and it makes you go invisible again.
Yes.
That's how Falcon works.
That's how volatile rounds work. You kill something when it's volatile, you go invisible, you get wall hacks.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's your aspect.
Yeah, this doesn't sound bad at all. Right? This actually sounds great.
The only thing is that it has to be a void weapon, but we have many incredible void weapons. Mm-hmm. We are not slacking. Like, just on the SMG point, you've got Shayura's from Trials.
Tons. Yeah.
You've got that other one. What's it called? The one that everyone
uses. Yeah.
Funnel Web.
Yes, Funnel Web.
Yeah.
Got Funnel Web.
Australian Spider one.
And it gives you wall hacks. Like, people are going to have wall hacks like forever. They're gonna have wall hacks the whole goddamn match.
Yep.
There's also another thing that they said here is that when executing a finisher while invisible, this exotic now gives nearby allies a reserve overshield, and it gives the wearer a temporary bonus to weapon damage. This is gonna be nuts in PvE. Like, you are gonna have volatile rounds all the time as well.
I don't see how you don't have 100% uptime of volatile rounds.
Yeah, for real.
You do. You have 100% uptime. Sure.
I'm gonna start the season with that immediately. Like,
Yeah,
wait,
that sounds fun.
Well, it says we have a change coming in 6.301. Does that mean it's not the first patch, or is it coming later? I just don't know why they mentioned.
I don't know.
It says here's a sneak preview.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sneak
I don't
preview
know.
sounds like it's coming later.
But this sounds
Okay.
pretty fun. It's the second week, apparently. It's the second week. That's not too long of a wait.
Oh.
Yeah, so it is a nerf in terms of usability. Like, you can't just put it on with any weapon and have a buff to your damage. But having volatile rounds all the time in PvE is going to be kind of incredible, and you will have wall hacks all the time in PvP. So
all the time.
Sounds good.
Sounds all right to me. So things that players can look forward to in the future: a heavy weapon damage rebalance. So it says here, what's the Lightfall DPS meta? Mysterious.
So they are nerfing linear fusions and buffing grenade launchers. Is my guess.
They're also doing a large rebalance of the airborne effectiveness stat, making primary ammo weapons significantly more accurate while airborne without any investment. Think Icarus level accuracy from before Season 17. That is a good change. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're also doing a pass at adding subclass 3.0 verbs to several exotic weapons. And they say that there are currently 7.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I really like that.
That's
Incandescence in my scout rifle.
But which
that
scout
sounds
rifle?
great.
Polaris?
The Polaris. I blanked on the name for a second.
Yeah.
My Lance.
So they are now talking about Void Hunter invisibility. So there's a lot that they say here, blah blah blah, but we're gonna get into the changes. So what they're doing is radar based. So the radar in Destiny 2 is divided into 3 range defined sections. Close range, which covers a range of 0 to 6 meters that pings anytime an enemy, invisible or not, is within its range. The mid-range pie wedges cover 6 to 24 meter range, and then the gutter or the outer ring of the radar starts at 24 meters and has a maximum search range of 64 meters. So after this update, which is the same update where the Gerfalcon changes are coming, when a player is invisible, their maximum radar range will be reduced to 24 meters, and they won't have access to the information in the gutter range until they are visible again. So my problem with Invis was literally that I just could not see them sometimes. On certain maps, in certain lighting, I've seen so many pictures and videos where there is someone standing right there, and I'm like, I have to look really hard to be able to see them. I don't think they needed to do this kind of change at all. I think they needed to just make people able to reliably see them.
Problem with invisibility is the invisibility.
It's too invisible.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like
I would sort of prefer you to be more visible and off radar.
Yeah. But if you're
because
just like a ghost, like you just are see-through when you're like haunting people in PvP, that's invisibility.
Yeah, big haunt factor up 10%.
It doesn't matter if you can see less on your radar if I literally can't see you when you're right in front of me when I'm looking at my screen.
Yeah. And I feel like that was one of the biggest benefits of going invisible is the radar shift that happens.
It's a radar manipulation, right?
Yeah, radar manipulation, exactly.
Didn't people wasn't the change people wanted was to be able to see invisible people at least on radar if they can't see them on the screen, but they're reducing radar for the invisible people? That's the change?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like a nerf to being radar or to being invisible.
Seems odd, but okay.
Yeah.
And I know that people, every time I bring this up, they're like, "Oh, well, that's the whole point. You know, if they're invisible." It's like, yeah, but invisibility has been in the game since the Taken King.
Yeah.
Hunter's invisibility has never been, I cannot see you on my screen. It's always been that you are kind of purple shimmery.
Yep.
They do a bunch of engine updates, lighting updates, and that has changed. And the Void 3.0 update, which was a change to just the way that it looks in general. And there are legit times where I am standing looking at them and I cannot see them. That has never been the case in Destiny's history for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like an engine issue, right?
That's what it seems like to me because it was fine before.
It makes sense.
But yeah, ever since they've made a bunch of changes, certain maps, certain lighting, certain like things behind them, like I just can't, you just can't see them, which is a problem. Anyway,
I feel like the function of the invisibility is just as much embedded into the radar, like it's a whole flanking maneuver. So it's
agree. Yeah.
I felt like that was the benefit of going invis, is that you could flank without being pinged.
That was
Whereas
definitely...
now it's like just they'll know you're there. They just won't be able to see you still.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Next they have season 19 artifact mods. So we get a little bit of a peek. I'm just going to read all of it. It's not super long. So we're hearing from Rodney, who says each season's artifact. Let's go, Rodney. Each season's artifact has focused on one of the light subclasses, reinforcing and enhancing the 3.0 updates that players have been tinkering with. In season 19, it's time to give a little love to stasis. As they've always done in the final season of the year, you'll see some reprisals, some reimaginings, and some more experimentation. The Season 19 artifact will have anti-champion mods for hand cannons, scout rifles, bows, pulse rifles, auto rifles, and machine guns, as well as the return of Unstoppable Grenade Launcher. We're also getting the Lucent Finisher mod returns to help generate heavy ammo, which obviously means there's some kind of Lucent enemy in there. Otherwise, it would make no sense. We've also got some new twists on a few old favorites, including a version of Passive Guard that works with glaives, and a reprisal of Breach and Clear designed to interact with the Void 3.0 rework.
Cool.
So I just had flashbacks to champions, and I was about to go on a rant about champions. I thought, I'm too sick. Let's let it go.
They also do say here that the experimental mods that don't follow their usual pattern, so they're gonna have something. There's an artifact mod for the chest and leg slot that grants bonus to resilience and mobility, respectively. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anything we need, it's more resilience right now. Perfect.
I'm actually surprised we didn't have mods like this a little bit earlier, where it kind of boosts more than one of the stats, because it's pretty important for making builds just on a fundamental level.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea fundamentally.
Like a plus 25 or something.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
We also have a helmet mod that grants additional airborne effectiveness to the weapons you're wielding. The monochromatic Maestro mod in the class item slot rewards you generously for using weapons and subclasses that match their damage types. Hello, Gerfalcon Void weapons, volatile rounds.
Let's go.
We've even included a mod aimed specifically at solo players, which should be very useful in tackling those Legend Lost sectors to get the right roll on the exotics.
Cool.
Now there's a thing that you guys are probably going to have to look at the TWAB for, because it's about the Arbalist community-created, community-voted ornament.
You want to bring it up?
You need to describe
bring it
each
up.
picture in vast detail. Just for...
Look at Mylan.
So
The
first we
fancy
have
tech.
historic, which
Looking Osiris-y.
Yeah.
make
Charles
the picture
Eve
bigger,
Osiris.
Mylan.
Copy that. Bang.
It's it's yellow, orange,
It's nice and rustic.
black, blue,
Golden. I'm assuming that's going to be like a Vigilance Wing. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, we have Black Armory, which, as you may have guessed, looks like a Black Armory weapon. Very interesting that they are bringing a Black Armory design while also saying that Black Armory weapons recently may be returning.
Okay.
Maybe they'll give the Black Armory weapons Seraph rounds. And we're being misled about Rasputin.
If you've sent me down the wrong path again, Tassie, I'm coming.
I didn't do any. This is not my fault. This is not This is Bungie at this time.
And next we have Synth Wave.
I mean, that's got to get voted for, surely.
Look at it.
I mean, I think that's my vote.
That one's definitely gonna win. I don't think it's a contest.
It's pretty great.
My only thing is, like, I feel like we got to get a lot of synthy stuff with Lightfall, and it's gonna
fine with
blend
that.
right
True.
into that.
I'm completely fine with all that.
You follow that?
Yeah.
I did like Splicer. Splicer is some of my favorite stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite looking weapons.
So you're going to be able to vote for any of these with an email coming December 5th. So make sure you're signed up for emails. It does say here that if you're having trouble, you can check out the resource for a potential workaround. So check that out. And then the winning ornament will be announced on December 15th.
Cool.
Copy that.
I'm very happy they're doing
badass.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want all three of them, actually, in game. From our Herbalist.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Then Arbalist. No one's going to use it. They're going to nerf it. They're going to have the cool skin.
Well, it's still very useful for dealing with champions, and I don't see that really going away.
It's not even getting nerfed, that much for PvE. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's just like the body shot damage is getting nerfed, and like
they already nerfed it for champions, so
yeah. And you shouldn't be body shotting with it in PvE, anyways.
Skill issue.
Is that a TEF lecture?
Just use your heavy if you need to put out some DPS.
Copy that.
That's really it. I mean, there is like a big list of like player support stuff, things that are, because obviously we're going into a new season. So you've got the schedule, you've got the last chance at Bungie rewards, you've got previous season pass and vendor rewards. It is the last call for destination materials, which is different than usual. So
donate them to the Elixir Quarter.
Give them to the Elixir Quarter. Buy some upgrade modules.
But
maybe.
Someone told me in chat that the corn is growing or something. I need to go actually see if that's true.
Corn is growing.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
You done?
Yeah, that's a big twab.
Because I'm dying. I'm sorry. I've been sneezing and coughing and everything all for the
How
podcast.
dare you, Mylan?
Mylan, you're not allowed to get sick. I'm sorry, man. Not allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Fatherhood, man. Yeah, I've been sick literally for like 6 months, like nonstop.
You got a baby. As soon as that baby leaves the house, Mylan, you will be sick forever.
I know. This is the new me. This is the new standard.
Mylan, you said you have a video coming out then tomorrow for some lore stuff, right?
Yeah, I pretty much just copied Paul's tweets about Rasputin, the bots, and Xivu Wrath. Yeah, you heard it all
with
here,
a much
but you still have
better accent, so it's a better package. So
yeah, and I get paid for it too, and Twitter you get nothing apart from clout. So
yeah, I've noticed. I've not gotten $0 from Twitter. It's very disappointing.
So even though I've told everyone the information that's going to be in the video, please come over, say hi, drop a like, say thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
You won't thank me when everything I'm predicting is wrong for 5 days from now, but we'll see.
We'll thank you if you're right. We'll blame you if you're wrong. That's very easy to solve. So,
Paul, you got a video coming out in the next few days before the season?
Yeah, whenever my kid's homesick, I don't really record, so I'm a little behind schedule, but I will probably have one over the next few days, and then some last minute predictions. They have to start promoting the season at some point, right?
I don't think they will.
The day before,
you're gonna drop the trailer
Friday
just before it,
resets.
like they did last time.
Yeah, it's going to be an hour before it comes out when the servers have gone down.
Yeah, so I'll make a video about that, I guess, whenever that happens.
What if it's just being in Zavala's office, waiting for him to give you a task, and he's just doing paperwork for a whole week? You're like, I'm waiting for Zavala.
Anything yet? Anything yet?
He's like, not now, Guardian. Watts, you got a video coming out this week, or?
I think I may put one out, a shorter one, just about some of the changes in the TWAB and what people might want to look out for.
Oh, TWAB wants
a little
now.
breakdown. All right,
just about Jer Falcon. It's just
Let's go.
one part.
Awesome. All right.
Actually, here's a heads up: is that there are not many Void sidearms in the game currently. Prophecy is the dungeon, and you can get the Void sidearm from that dungeon. So might be worth investing some of your time into that if you're wanting another sidearm.
And eventually they're going to get Prophecy and Origin trait, and then you'll have to regrind whatever you just did.
Yes, correct. And it'll be the best one.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, quite a meaty TWAB.
It was.
We did it. We solved all the possible answers and questions of stuff, and looking forward to next week. Looking forward to what the hell this season's going to be.
Twitter questions, y'all. I can get on Twitter. I can respond to some with my thoughts.
I'll go in the thread if I have time a little later and try and answer some.
I'm not responding. I'm going to bed.
I'm sure most of them are like, "Hey, Mylan, how'd you feel about the tea?" Or tea,
T.
I'm gonna Control C, Control V. Just gonna be watch the video. Here's the link. Watch the video. Here's the link.
What about you?
All right. Well, that is DCP Live, episode number 316. Mylan's got to go die in a coma from all the cold and sickness and stuff. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Shout out to Patreon members and Twitch subs for supporting the shows on the feed. And we'll see you next week for new awesome Destiny stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
New season. Bye-bye.
New season. Bye.